Hi, hey, and whoa, look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's anime Superman. Sorry, I know there's like a dad joke or something, but I had to do it. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, this video is going to be a review of the first 3 episodes of My Adventures with Superman. And kind of like I said, it is like an anime Superman. But hey, do y'all realize that this is the first Superman cartoon, like, as in Superman, no other leaguers, just a Superman cartoon? This is the first one since, like, I think the 90s series, the Superman animated series that led into Justice League. You remember the Superman show, the dun 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 dun. You remember that? Well, most of you should remember that. I'm maybe starting to forget that that show was, what, 20 years ago now? Whew, man. But anyone who's a DC fan should know what that show is, because again, it led to Justice League. It was preceded by the Batman animated series, then Superman came on, then there was Static Shock, and then Justice League, yeah. Oh, Batman Beyond, I forgot Batman Beyond. But yeah, point is, this is the first Superman cartoon in a good while. And I gotta say, from the first 3 episodes, it's pretty damn good. Now, it's kind of jarring at first to see kind of the, I guess, anime aesthetic on a Superman cartoon, because we've been accustomed to seeing Superman a certain way, drawn a certain way, and everything for the past however long you want to say. But it works. They make it work. And the premise of the series, really, for the most part, is that Superman, or let me say Clark, Lois, and Jimmy are interns for the Daily Planet. And Lois is as Lois Laney as ever, right? She's always getting into stuff, really hyperactive, I guess, trying to get the story and doing things that puts herself in jeopardy and others, really, to be honest. And I start with Lois because Lois is kind of like a driving factor for a lot of the stuff that happens in the show. She kind of, at least so far, she kind of moves things along with how reckless she is. But let me go ahead and talk about Clark. Clark is, his situation is that he pretty much just wants to be a normal person on Earth, and the first episode is him trying to be, him literally saying he's a normal man, and that's kind of like what he's trying to do. He's trying to go about his day as a normal man, but stuff keeps on happening that makes him kind of have to use his powers. Now, they do a flashback in the first episode quite a few times to show that, or to show Clark trying to, I guess, get accustomed, or not get accustomed, but his parents, his, I guess, Earth parents, John and Martha, Martha. But anyway, they take him to, I'm assuming it was supposed to be the area where his spaceship landed, and it's like this huge platform. And when he steps on the platform, it activates, and like this hologram of Jor-El pops up. And when Clark's a child in the flashback, it scares him, so he like runs away from it. And then, of course, fast forward to present day, he's kind of finding himself having to use his powers more and more. So he decides, in order to find out more about himself, and because Lois is kind of trying to push in the envelope of trying to figure out more about Superman, he decides to go back to Smallville to find out more about his past, basically his origins. And he arrives at the ship, and basically it kind of activates again. He confronts Jor-El again, and Jor-El's kind of, again, speaking to him in Kryptonian language, which is actually something that is a good it's a good point that they made in the show. Clark doesn't understand anything Jor-El is saying, and in the past, in other cartoons and stuff, Clark is pretty much able to understand Kryptonian anyway. So that's a good touch that they made, that he doesn't know what Jor-El is saying, and he's gonna have to learn how to speak Kryptonian. But Jor-El basically shows him this hologram of what happened, his origin story of him being sent off Krypton to Earth and everything, and then he gives him his Superman suit, which is like this kind of suit up sequence thing, kind of sort of like Sailor Moon or Power Rangers. which a lot of the internet has talked about, which, by the way, from what I can tell, has only been a thing one time, so I don't think they're going to continue to do that. But in the midst of this, Martha kind of looks at him. She's like, "Oh, it's a nice suit. It needs one thing: trunks and a belt." So that's their way of kind of throwing the red trunks on him and giving them the belt. There's no real reason they put the trunks on him other than obviously they just wanted it to be accurate. But that's kind of the in-universe reason why he has the red trunks on. Meanwhile, Lois is of course getting into trouble again, because that's what Lois Lane does. She's following basically what I haven't even talked about yet in this review, and that's the antagonist of the first 2 episodes. The antagonist technically is Livewire, if you remember her from the Superman animated series in the 90s. But she's different because she's like this thief or mercenary, and she's gotten this technology from we don't know where yet, because I don't think they've told us. And the technology is real advanced. Like the first episode, Clark finds himself having to fight off some robots, and then in the second episode, Livewire gets like this battle armor suit thing that gives her electricity powers. And again, Lois is kind of tailing her, and then Superman finds out that they're in danger, so he dashes back and saves them, takes on Livewire. All while Slade is also there, because I forgot to mention Slade. He kind of just pops up. I forgot to mention him because he just kind of pops up in the episode. But he pops up and he's taking on Livewire as well, because he's trying to bring her in, if I'm not mistaken. And they don't really, well, he doesn't beat her. Obviously Clark beats her. And later on in the episode, after she gets arrested, Slade kind of interrogates her about the technology and Superman, I believe. So then we get to episode 3, which is all about the technology that Livewire has still, because this new group, and for the life of me I can never remember their name right now. They're a group, we've heard of them before, but I can't think of the name of the group. They're a group of thieves, or actually mercenaries or something too, and they're being led by Silver Banshee. Again, different because Silver Banshee is like a meta, but on this show she's using this technology to give herself powers. And the theme of the episode is kind of continuing with Lois trying to find out more about Superman. She wants this interview from him, and Superman is obviously kind of hesitant, or he doesn't want to give an interview. Lois is kind of driving the plot with her insistence on trying to figure out who Superman is, and so she again is doing what Lois Lane does. Now they end up coming to blows with the antagonist of this episode, and Superman takes him on, he beats him, then he finally gives Lois an interview, and you think that's that, but it's not, because Lois calls him a liar. So that's just like a quick version of the first 3 episodes. I didn't go into too much detail. You definitely should watch it for yourself if you can, because it's a very entertaining show. And I think the reason that I started out with Lois when I talked about the characters in the show, and I only talked about 2 characters. Jimmy is kind of just there, to be honest. He's kind of like comedic relief. But the reason I started with Lois is because, again, Lois is like the driving point. Like, she kind of puts everything into motion in terms of what's gonna happen in the episode from their point of view. Clark is kind of just following her around and just there doing what he does. He's trying to keep her out of trouble. And also, again, they're interns, so they're a team, which is slightly different than what we're used to. Usually they're reporters. They're both reporters. Jimmy's kind of coming in. He's a younger character. And Lois is doing her own thing. Clark is doing his own thing. And then they intermingle, obviously, at the office. And then when Clark is going on stories with her sometimes. But it's not a situation where it's like Clark is a tag along. They're both reporters. They both have their jobs. So in this series, with them being interns and Lois being the headstrong intern, because I think she's been there a bit longer than Clark has, she's kind of, head first jumping into every situation, and she doesn't have the permission to do so from Perry Grant. Perry Grant, that's not his name. Is that his last name? I don't think it's Grant. I can't remember his last name right now, but the editor-in-chief. And the editor. And Lois just goes, and again, it's true to character. Lois is hot-headed, or hard-headed, I should say. She just goes. She doesn't necessarily think about the dangers or anything or repercussions. Lois just goes. If there's a story, she's gonna go get it. That's just her character, and so I can't complain about that. She's true to character. Clark is true to character. He's kind of, to himself, friendly, but to himself, he's reserved, and they have the Clark and Superman dynamic pretty good so far. Right now, it's a bit of a blend. You can the Clark side is blending into the Superman side, but it's excusable because he's just starting out. This is like year one Superman, so it makes sense. Like, he hasn't fully established the Clark Kent and Superman personas yet. He's got the hair right. They even show him switching his hair or messing his hair up for his Clark side, and then kind of having it, I guess, that style curl look on the forehead for his Superman look. So again, there's a lot of effort put into the series, and it's interesting so far. It's a different take on Superman, of course. It's not what we're used to. They, again, like I said, have thrown this kind of anime element into it, and it's not bad. It's not hurting it at all. I'm very intrigued to see what's going on with Slade, because he's just kind of popping up here and there. He popped up for like 2 seconds in that 3rd episode. So I'm wondering where his role is in all this. I'm wondering who the people are that Livewire got the technology from, and it's looking like the main point of this season, I'm assuming, is going to be the technology angle, like the technology that she got. Apparently everybody else, or a lot of other people, got their hands on it. I would like to see some more metas, like not people who are meta that have technology that gives them powers, but like the actual metas from Superman's Rogues Gallery. So that's something that I'm hoping they actually have on here, that is not all technology based, because to be honest, Superman is kind of easily taking on the threats that he's dealt with in these first 3 episodes. I mean, the robots gave him a run for his money, but he was still really getting used to how to use his powers fully, because another thing that they're doing is he's kind of unlocking powers as he goes. So he kind of, I guess, unlocks extra strength. I don't know what to call it really. His eyes glow red when he unlocks extra power, or they glow, period. I don't think they glow red in the 3rd episode for the heat vision that he unlocked, because that's what he did in the 3rd episode. He unlocked heat vision, and in the 1st episode, I think they just kind of glow white or blue, and he got faster and stronger, I think. I don't know. Like I said, it's a different take, and that stuff like that, the glowy eyes, is obviously kind of the anime influence thing I believe that they're going for. But all in all, like I said, the series itself is really, really good. It's really entertaining. Jack Quaid from The Boys, who he's playing Superman, and he's doing a really good job. Like I said, again, I think is still kind of trying to find his way in the role, because his Clark and his Superman obviously sound alike, and I don't know that Superman really tries to do anything different with his voice anyway. Maybe he tries to sound a little bit more confident when he's Superman as opposed to when he's Clark. But all in all, like I said, it's just a really good show. You should definitely check it out. I'll be doing a review of each episode that comes out as they come out now. I just hadn't had a chance to do one yet until now, so that's why you get 3 in this one as opposed to 1 episode each. And even with that, HBO Max aired the first 2 episodes pretty much at the same time. So yeah, with all that said, yeah, I'll keep on reviewing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the reviews, and hopefully, again, the show just gets better and better. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. Again, this is the first Superman show in like 20 years, so it's been a long time coming. But hey, if you like the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more, and remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.